Well, hello again. Thank you for joining me one more time. We are going to quickly just review how to find slope. Painfully easy. So go with me. We're going to find slope. All right. The first thing you need to understand about slope. Slope is defined as a ratio of the change in y over the change in x. In other words, you are looking at how steep a line is. The higher the number, the more steep it is. The lower the number, of course, the less steep it is. Um, so let's go ahead and look at the three ways that you can find slope. Depending on what you see, depending on what is given to you, you'll be able to determine the slope. All right. Sometime I may give you a graph and ask you to find the slope right there from that graph. All right. Painfully easy. You'll be able to do it. Sometime I may give you a set of two or more ordered pair. Again, something that you can handle quite easily. And probably the easiest one out of all is you can find it from an equation, okay, that is put into slope intercept form. All right, so let's go ahead and try some of these out. We're going to try a couple. Finding the slope with a graph, finding it with ordered pair, and finding with equations. All right, come with me. Okay, so here is our graph of our linear function. All right, and simply all we need to do is remember to take into consideration rise over run. So we're going to literally count. All right, we're going to literally count how how far we go up and then how far we go over, and we're going to make a ratio out of those two numbers. So let's go ahead. Starting here at this point, we're going to count up. So we're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we're stopping right there at the 4, so we're going to go ahead and write 4 to the left. That's our rise. All right, remember it's a ratio, so something's going to be underneath it. And from there, now we're going to count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 over 5. So our slope is 4 over 5. Was that simple? Of course it was simple. Let's go ahead and try one more just for good measure. All right. All right, great. Here's our next graph. Let's go ahead and count. Remember, rise is how much it rises or falls. This time we're noticing that our line is going different, so it's falling this time. So we're just going to count down. 1, 2. All right. So since we went down, we're going to say negative 2. All right. See our negative 2 there? And now from that negative 2, we're going to count over now. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Negative 2 over 6. We see that there. Of course, that can be simplified. So let's go ahead and simplify it. What can be simplified needs to be simplified. And it can be simplified simply as negative 1 over 3. All right, negative 1/3 is your slope. That is your slope. All right, got it? Pretty simple. Let's go ahead and move on, see how it looks when we can find slope from a couple of ordered pair. All right, let's go. Okay, so we've talked about how to find slope from a graph. All right, let's find slope from a couple of given ordered pair. All right, and if I give you a set of, now the ordered pair I will give you um, more often than not, maybe they might be set on a graph, but either way you'll be able to find it. So let's go ahead and use this set of ordered pair. One, one and one, and then 4 and 3. Okay, so the one thing you have to remember about finding it from ordered pair is a simple formula, and that formula is simply slope equals, we call this the change in y, but anyway, the second y value minus the first y value. So we're going to say y subscript 2 minus y subscript 1 all over the second x value minus the first x value. Okay? And we're just going to substitute our numbers into that formula. So let's go ahead and do it. What's our second y value? It's 3. So we're going to say 3 minus 1 all over 4 minus 1. Fair enough? And what's 3 minus 1? You got it. 2. And then 4 minus 1 is going to be thirds. All right, 3. So your slope is 2 over 3. All right, nothing extremely difficult about that, right? We just plugged it into this simple formula. Let's try one more just for good measure. Let's try, let's see, -3 and 1. And let's use the coordinate point -1 and -3. Fair enough? All right, we're going to plug it into our thing. So our second y value is going to be -3. Our first y value is going to be 1, so -3 minus 1 all over -1 minus -3. Okay? And we know that -3 minus 1 is going to give us what? -4. And then we know that -1 minus -3 is going to give us positive 2. Right? Good to go. That can be reduced, can't it? Of course it can. -4 divided by 2 is going to give us -2. Circle it. And -2 becomes your slope. All right, fair enough? Pretty easy still. So stay with me. Let's do just one more in equations, and then we'll be all finished, okay? So let me just give you a linear equation here. Let's say y equals 4x plus 1. All right. We're noticing very quickly that that is in y-intercept form. When in doubt, if you don't know if it's in y-intercept form, just go ahead and put the formula for y-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. And you can see very simply y is by itself. All right, your slope is attached to that x variable, and then you've got one constant by itself. So this is in y-intercept form. And once it's in y-intercept form, you know automatically that m represents your slope. So our slope is 4. Slope equals 4. Wasn't that easy? And of course your y-intercept would be 1. Let's try one more. Sometimes we'll throw something just a tad more complicated at you. Let's see. Let's say -2y equals 2x minus 12. Okay. All right. Looking at that, let's see if it's in y-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. Your y-intercept looks good. Your slope looks good. Uh-oh, that y is not by itself. So that means we've got to get the y by itself, all right? And we can do that simply by using the inverse operation and dividing both sides by -2, okay? Once we've done that, we're left with y equals -x plus 6, right? We know that whenever you see a variable by itself, that means that there should be a 1 in front of it, so that's 1x. So our slope is going to be -1, right? So slope equals -1, and that's it. Okay? Still not horrible, still not bad. All right, let's try one more. Sometime we might get creative and give you an equation in standard form. So let's go ahead and do that. 5x plus 3y equal to -6. All right. If you were to put y equals mx plus b, we see already that that's not in slope-intercept form. So let's go ahead and put it into slope-intercept form. First step would be to get this 5x on the other side. So we're going to undo that simply by using inverse operations. All right. This is nothing that's new to you. So stay with me as we go. Good so far? Good. Now we're finally going to undo that 3, again by using inverse operations. Y equals -5 over 3x minus what? -2. Good. All right, last but not least, we see that it's in y-intercept form, and we know already that our slope is this one that's attached to the x. So let's go ahead and say our slope equals -5 over 3. And that is our answer. Hopefully you found those simple and easy enough. Keep practicing, keep studying, and always keep learning, keep loving, and keep leaning on God. Until next time, see you later. Well, hello.